In 2003, game wardens from the Texas Parks and Wildlife Department coordinated with the USDA to raid a farm outside Houston. They weren't looking for drugs. They weren't looking for weapons. They were confiscating vegetables, specifically a plant you can buy at any Asian grocery store for about $2 a bunch. The same plant my grandmother stir-fried with garlic every single week. Why? Because this thing grows 10 centimeters, 4 inches, every single day. If a single stem fragment escapes into a natural waterway, it can choke an entire canal system within weeks. The USDA calls it a federal noxious weed, banned from open soil in Florida, Texas, and several other states. But here's what nobody tells you. Grow it in an isolated 5-gallon bucket on your private balcony? 100% legal. Full harvestable canopy every 14 days, all summer long, without replanting once. That plant is number 4 on today's list. But before we get there, we need to talk about what is happening to your balcony garden right now. Because it is June, and June is when most balcony gardens quietly die, not with a dramatic wilt, not overnight. Just a slow weekly decline that most people blame on the heat, on their watering schedule, on the soil mix they bought. The real reason is biology. A standard leafy green, your lettuce, your conventional spinach, runs on a C3 biological engine. The moment your balcony crosses 30 degrees Celsius, that engine starts breaking down. The plant triggers photorespiration. It literally begins burning its own carbohydrates just to stay alive. It is not struggling. It is not adjusting. It is biologically incompatible with your concrete balcony in summer. No amount of watering, shading, or premium potting mix will fix a biology problem. So today, we are evicting those plants. All of them. I'm giving you the exact 10 biological anomalies. Plants that don't just survive 40 degrees summer heat. Plants that weaponize it. A $1 sweet potato from the grocery store that grows 5 centimeters per day and actively cools your balcony. The federally banned weed, legal in a bucket, harvests every 14 days straight through August. A climbing vine with an internal hydrogel shield, still photosynthesizing at 45 degrees when everything else has shut down. And one plant that needs just 15 by 15 centimeters of floor space. Continuous harvests for 6 straight months. Starting this June, your balcony is not a hobby space. It is expensive real estate. And we are going to treat it like 3 cohorts. Weaponized heat engines that accelerate in 40 degrees summer temperatures. Perpetual harvest machines you cut down and come back to 14 days later. And microspace specialists that manufacture their own fertilizer. Cool your balcony and cost almost nothing to start. We start with the 3 plants that turn brutal June heat into their primary fuel source. Most greens at your garden center run on a C3 photosynthetic engine, built for 15 to 25 degrees Celsius. Cross 30 degrees on a June afternoon and photorespiration kicks in. The plant burns up to 40% of its own photosynthetic energy just to break even. These 3 plants are built on entirely different biological architectures. June heat is not their enemy, it is their engine. Plant 1. Leaf Amaranth. Amaranthus tricolor. Amaranth runs a C4 engine. 2 concentric rings of cells with separate jobs. The outer ring captures carbon using PEP carboxylase, an enzyme with 0 affinity for oxygen. That carbon gets shuttled inward through channels called plasmodesmata into bundle sheath cells sealed off from oxygen by a waxy suberin barrier. Inside, CO2 concentrations run 10 to 20 times higher than the surrounding atmosphere. Rubisco never sees oxygen. Photorespiration never activates. And here is the part most people miss. Under elevated UVB radiation, the exact conditions of a south-facing balcony in midsummer, amaranth accelerates. Biomass accumulation runs 45 to 60% faster than comparable C3 crops under the same UV load. The radiation scorching your lettuce is triggering amaranth's defense system and redirecting that solar energy into tissue production. The same stress that kills your spinach is making this plant build faster. Here is what to do. Styrofoam produce box. The kind Asian grocery stores often give away free. Fill it 15 centimeters deep, 40% compost, 60% cocoa coir, pH 6 to 6.5. Press seeds directly onto the surface 10 to 15 centimeters apart. Do not bury them. Place in your most brutal sun exposure, 20 to 25 days to first harvest. Cut the main stem, leave the bottom nodes. 2 weeks later, lateral shoots push back up. 1 box. Harvests every 2 weeks straight through August, getting faster and more nutritious as the summer intensifies. Plant 2. Broadleaf purslane. Purslane runs 2 photosynthetic systems simultaneously inside the exact same leaf cells, C4 and CAM. During peak afternoon heat, the C4 system runs normally, but the night before, when your balcony cooled down, purslane opened its stomata and pulled CO2 out of the cool night air, converting it to malic acid and storing it under pressure in its cellular vacuoles, charging a biological battery overnight. The next morning, as heat builds, stomata seal completely shut. 0 water loss. The plant cracks open those stored malic acid reserves, releasing concentrated CO2 directly to its photosynthetic machinery from the inside, running on stored carbon. In a heat wave, stomata completely closed nutritionally, 4 milligrams of omega-3 fatty acids per gram of fresh weight, the highest recorded concentration of alpha-linolenic acid in any terrestrial green plant. Raw spinach delivers less than 1 milligram per gram, 5 centimeters of soil depth. That is all this plant needs, shallower than a coffee mug. Grow it in the gap between 2 larger containers. Press seeds onto warm, moist soil surface. Do not cover them. They are photoblastic and need light contact to germinate. June is the single best month to start this plant. One more thing. Harvest early morning for a sharp, citrusy flavor. The malic acid is still fully charged. Harvest late afternoon for mild and neutral. Same plant. You control the flavor by controlling the clock. Plant 3. Malabar spinach. Inside the leaf cells of this plant, specifically inside specialized secretory cells called idioblasts, there are massive vacuoles filled with a viscous polysaccharide gel, a mucilage matrix built directly into the cellular architecture. These vacuoles expand to 1,000 times the volume of a standard epidermal cell as heat and salinity increase. When atmospheric demand pulls water out of the leaf faster than roots can replace it, this gel releases its stored water molecules into the surrounding tissue, keeping stomata open and carbon assimilation running at 42 to 45 degrees Celsius. Standard leafy greens shut down at 32. Malabar spinach is still running at 45, less than 10 centimeters lateral footprint at the base. Train it up your railing, up a trellis, up a string tied to your ceiling. Place a single well-draining container at the base of your balcony railing. Run strings or netting vertically to your ceiling. Plant softwood cuttings directly. They root rapidly in water or moist soil. Space 30 centimeters apart. Harvest the tender growing tips continuously. The more you harvest, the more lateral shoots push out. One plant trained up a 2-meter railing, running from June through September without a break. No floor space consumed. The empty air between your railing and ceiling becomes productive growing surface. None of these 3 need a raised bed. None need a grow light. None need a premium soil mix to outperform everything you have tried before. But what if you never had to replant? What if cutting your plants down was the trigger that made them grow back harder. The next 4 plants are engineered exactly for that, and the one that regrows fastest. The US federal government spent actual resources trying to stop people from growing it. 4 plants. 1 rule: cut them down, walk away, come back in 14 days. Harvesting is not the end of their cycle. It is the trigger that starts the next one. Plant 4. Water spinach, Ipomoea aquatica. Every single node along a water spinach stem contains pre-formed adventitious root primordia. Clusters of undifferentiated cells already organized, already waiting. The moment any node contacts moisture, those primordia activate. Within 48 hours, a fully functional root network establishes. A single stem fragment floating down a drainage canal can colonize an entire waterway. That is the documented mechanism that got this plant classified as a federal noxious weed, banned from open soil in Florida and Texas. But an isolated 5-gallon bucket on a private upper floor balcony is physically decoupled from every municipal waterway. The ecological threat mechanism that triggered the ban does not exist in that environment, 100% legal. And the most aggressive cut-and-comb-again producer on this entire list. Water spinach's mitotic optimum sits between 32 and 35 degrees Celsius. At that range, nodal cell division rate functionally doubles. June is not a problem. June is its peak operating environment, 5-gallon food-safe bucket. Fill halfway with rich organic compost. Keep 1 to 2 inches of standing water at the surface at all times. Source cuttings 6 to 10 inches long, with at least 3 nodes. Do not start from seed. Press lower nodes into the flooded substrate, 1 node submerged. Root primordia fire within 48 to 72 hours. When shoots reach 8 to 12 inches, cut back to 2 inches above soil. Leave basal nodes intact. Full harvestable canopy returns in 14 days. Feed with liquid fish emulsion at quarter strength every 2 weeks. 1 bucket, 8 dense harvests across 1 summer season. Plant 5. Garlic chives. Allium tuberosum root rot kills more container gardens in summer than bad soil and bad technique combined. Pythium, the water mold responsible, releases motile zoospores that swim through moisture films in your potting mix, tracking root chemical signatures, collapsing the plant's hydraulic system within days. Garlic chives are completely, unconditionally immune to Pythium. Not resistant. Immune, the rhizome network continuously exudes 2 compounds. First, diallyl disulfide, volatile organosulfur that permeates potting mix moisture films and lyses Pythium zoospore membranes on contact. Second, spirostenol saponins, steroidal compounds that bind irreversibly to ergosterol in fungal membranes, punching transmembrane pores and causing immediate cell death. This chemical output runs continuously without any damage to the plant triggering it. Research on intercropping documents a 60% reduction in bacterial wilt when garlic chives grow adjacent to tomatoes. The same mechanism protecting the chives protects everything nearby. 0 soil turnover required for 36 months. Cut the entire foliar mass flat, 1 to 2 inches above the crown. Water deeply immediately after. Visible new growth within 5 to 7 days. Full harvestable height in 10 to 14 days. 10 centimeter wide window box. Supports 50 individual plants in an interlocked rhizome matrix. Plant at pH 6 to 7. Full sun minimum 6 hours. Top dress with nitrogen-rich compost after each cycle. Do not replace the soil. The rhizome network gets more valuable with each passing month. Plant 6. Swiss chard, Beta vulgaris. Lettuce bolts in summer, spinach bolts. Most leafy greens, when heat and long days hit, trigger an irreversible reproductive transition. Leaves turn bitter. Harvest is over. Swiss chard cannot bolt in summer. not because it is heat tolerant in a general sense, because of one gene, BVFT1, that locks the plant in vegetative, leaf-producing mode regardless of temperature spikes or photoperiod length. To initiate flowering, Beta vulgaris requires vernalization, a sustained cold period between 4 and 7 degrees Celsius maintained over weeks. On a summer balcony, that cold period never comes. BVFT1 is running at full strength from June through August. The plant is genetically prevented from stopping. 5 to 7 gallon pot, 12 to 18 inches deep. The taproot needs vertical space to store carbohydrates that fuel regrowth. Fabric grow bags work best. Harvest outer leaves only, cutting 5 centimeters above the base. Never remove more than 1/3 of the canopy per session. The central meristem stays undisturbed, continuously generating new leaf primordia. One plant, managed this way, runs continuous production for 6 to 8 months. Start in June. You are harvesting through December. Plant 7. New Zealand spinach, Tetragonioides. Every container garden has a slow-moving problem most growers never identify. Fertilizer salt accumulation. Every time you water and feed, dissolved mineral salts stay behind in the potting mix. Over weeks of summer watering, electrical conductivity climbs until the soil begins drawing water out of root cells instead of letting roots absorb it. Drought stress symptoms. In a pot you watered an hour ago. New Zealand spinach is a halophyte. It evolved on coastal sand dunes in soil saturated with sodium, chloride, and magnesium. Instead of excluding those ions, it actively pulls them in, locking them into specialized epidermal bladder cells that expand to 1,000 times normal cell volume as they fill with sequestered salts. Research confirms the EC of the soil in its root zone drops measurably as the plant grows. The plant thriving in conditions that kill everything else is simultaneously cleaning the soil everything else shares. This plant trails downward. Mount the container at ceiling height or on an elevated shelf. Stems cascade down, filling vertical airspace nothing else is using. Soak woody seed pods 12 to 24 hours before sowing. Without scarification, germination takes 10 to 40 days. Or, take softwood cuttings and root in water. They establish within days. 0% bolting at 40 degrees Celsius. Harvest tender growing tips continuously. The empty air below your railing becomes productive canopy. While the plant quietly detoxifies the soil in every container around it, the last 3 plants do something beyond producing food. They make the entire balcony system run better, cost less, and produce more. Plant 8. Dwarf bush beans. The only plant on this list that makes the soil richer every single day it is alive, without any input from you. Under the soil, roots release flavonoid compounds signaling nitrogen deficiency. Rhizobium bacteria detect those signals, synthesize molecular keys called nod factors, and send them back. The root hair traps the bacteria, constructs an infection thread, and carries them into the root cortex, where they differentiate into bacteroids that run an enzyme called nitrogenase. Nitrogenase breaks the triple covalent bond of atmospheric nitrogen gas, the most stable diatomic bond in nature, and converts it to ammonia. Bioavailable nitrogen, manufactured from thin air. 1 5-liter container using Rhizobium tropici CI8-899 as inoculant manufactures up to 1.2 grams of pure bioavailable nitrogen per growth cycle. CI8-899 specifically, functional at soil temperatures to 42 degrees Celsius, viable at pH as low as 4.0. Standard inoculant strains fail above 30 degrees. Critical detail most guides miss. The GS-GO-GAT enzyme system that processes the ammonia the bacteroids produce fails above 34 degrees Celsius. Before the nitrogenase itself fails, container architecture is not optional. Double pot the beans. Place the 5-liter growing container inside a slightly larger secondary container, creating an insulating air gap that prevents solar radiation from cooking the root zone. Serve and mulch with expanded vermiculite. Incorporate biochar at 30 grams per kilogram of soil. Apply minimal starter nitrogen at planting. The symbiosis takes 3 to 5 weeks to establish, and the seedling needs leaf area to fuel the bacteroids. Once nodules activate, external nitrogen stops completely. Plant 9. Sweet potato vine. 2 summers ago, our team spent $50 on hybrid vegetable seeds for a balcony test setup. Specialty varieties, cold stratified, premium germination rates on the packet. By mid-July, every single one was dead. Then someone on the team pushed an old sprouting sweet potato from the grocery store into a corner container. No technique, no special substrate, just a forgotten tuber in standard potting mix. By August, it had taken over the entire railing. The shoot apical meristem of Ipomoea batatas synthesizes auxin at the growing tip, and the continuous downward transport of that auxin drives internode elongation peaking between 31 and 35 degrees Celsius. Phenomic tracking documents 5 centimeters of linear vine extension per day under June and July conditions. Every node along the stem contains preformed adventitious root primordia. Contacting moist soil triggers root establishment within 24 hours, creating a self-expanding hydraulic network across adjacent containers. Sweet potato leaves contain 38 to 51 milligrams of lutein per 100 grams fresh weight, surpassing raw kale at 39.5 and raw spinach at 11.9. Polyphenol content tests 43% higher than premium spinach, and the entire operations starts with 1 grocery store sweet potato. Suspend the tuber in water. Slips emerge within days to weeks. Vigorous rooted cuttings that plant directly. 1 tuber produces dozens of slips, infinitely clonable through the season. Container minimum 25 to 30 centimeters deep. Base potting mix with 20 to 30% coco coir and 10 to 20% perlite. Mulch surface with 2 to 3 centimeters coconut husk chips. Train the vine upward through railing, strings, or netting manually. This plant does not self-attach. Harvest apical tips continuously. Every harvest disrupts apical dominance and forces lateral bud release. Denser canopy, more growing tips, more harvestable material at the next cycle. Plant 10. Lacinato dinosaur kale. Most people buy the wrong version. Curly kale, dense, tightly folded, overlapping leaves. By July on a south-facing balcony, those folds trap stagnant hot air between the leaves, creating isolated humid microclimates that incubate fungal pathogens. Alternaria leaf spot, downy mildew. The architecture that looks productive is engineering its own collapse. Lacinato kale grows upright. 1 central stalk, long strap-like open leaves, maximum airflow. But the real mechanism is the leaf surface. Lacinato is heavily bullate, covered in a continuous pattern of domes and depressions between the veins. When air moves across a smooth leaf, it forms a laminar boundary layer that traps heat. The bullate domes physically disrupt that laminar flow, generating continuous turbulent micro-eddies that strip heat off the leaf surface. Active thermography research confirms complex leaf surfaces dissipate thermal loads at significantly accelerated rates. Under high heat and high light stress, the plant also upregulates heat shock proteins 101 and 22, chaperone proteins that stabilize cellular structures and keep the photosynthetic apparatus running. Research documents lacinato kale maintaining 45% of baseline photosynthesis at 38 degrees Celsius. At 40 degrees, standard leafy greens are at 0. Lacinato is at 15%, 15 by 15 centimeters, the size of a single floor tile. One plant per position in a vertical farming pocket or tall, narrow pot. Organic soilless substrate. Processed pine bark, compost, vermicompost, carbonized rice hulls. Add perlite or pumice to prevent waterlogging. Hill the base as the stalk elongates. Harvest continuously from the bottom up. Oldest outer leaves first. Apical tip always intact. 6-month continuous harvesting life cycle. Research documents 22.5 kilograms per square meter by month 6. Curly kale in the same period, 11.2 kilograms. The palm tree architecture, that looks less impressive at the garden center, is producing twice the cumulative yield by December. Let's go back to where we started. $3.49. 21 grams of kale, already yellowing, traveled several hundred miles to get to you. Here is what the biology offers instead. 10 plants. C4 engines, nocturnal carbon batteries, a federally banned weed legal in a bucket, a grocery store tuber covering your railing by August. That is not a garden. That is a food engine. Your balcony in June is not a limitation. It is a selection filter. And now you know exactly which plants pass it. Which of these 10 are you giving a visa to this summer? Drop it in the comments. I read every single one. Because episode 3 is already built around 4 invisible things suffocating your roots right now without you knowing it. You do not need more space. You need a food engine. Take back control. I will see you in the next build.